Warning, explicit content. This material may not be suitable for children. Listener discretion is advised.
What's up, knuckleheads? Welcome to Mining Minds. Welcome to The Face. Sitting here with Dino Brunson today. I'm ready to get after it. Dino, what's cracking, man?
Hanging, man. Let's talk about this business. Let's talk about podcast world for Mining Minds. What's that look like?
I don't know. You tell me, what is your idea of Mining Minds? So give you guys an idea before Dino answers his question. We're going to go around the room. Chris Rodriguez, Dino Brunson, myself. We're going to go around the room and talk about what we see Mining Minds as. Obviously, we don't have anything out there yet, but we want to give you guys a taste and a flavor of what we will. Give you a little palate check.
It's kind of what to expect or what our vision is at this point, starting this business up.
So why don't you start, Dino? What do you see Mining Minds as?
Well, obviously I see it as a mining podcast. That's essentially all about what we're doing. It's a mining podcast. Mining Minds has always been kind of a play on words for us. We wanna talk mining with the professionals in the industry here locally, reaching out globally. So we're essentially gonna be mining your mind. That's the whole idea behind the Mining Minds name. We want to extract that information from your brain, kind of like we're extracting the gold from the ground, right? My vision for Mining Minds has always been getting down to the miner. It's always about the miner. That's who makes the mining world go round for me.
What about people that are outside the mining industry? They don't know anything about mines. They don't know maybe how big of an impact that mines have on people. What would you say to them?
I would say sit down and hold on. I mean, this is going to be just as informational for somebody that doesn't know anything about the mining industry as it will be for the people that are inside the industry. It's going to be educational for all of us, I think. We're all inside the industry, but we're not going to be the professional at every single topic that we have, right? We're going to have experiences, but we're not the professional. That's why we're bringing the people on to understand the different topics, whether it's safety and health, the mine operations, processing, HR. One of my passions or one of my big ticket items is going to be health and fitness inside the mining industry. I want to look for people that can help influence maybe a culture change inside of what we do. The miners work a ton of hours. Their diets are shit, and it's just unhealthy, right? And it comes down to a choice for what we do as individuals, but I don't think the education is there because as the miners, they need the direction. This is just what you do, right? It's not the burritos. It's not the energy drinks. It's a different way of life. That's what I want to bring to the table for the Mining Minds.
So right now, you're a manager of a logistics company, a contractor essentially for the mining companies, but you started out as a miner, as a haul truck operator, as a shovel dozer operator, equipment operator essentially, went into supervision, went over and supervised crews, went over into blasting, supervised those crews, understood the blasting side of things, went underground. You've got a lot of experience in a short amount of time. Definitely not an SME in everything. But you understand the operational side of things, the project side of things, from the logistics side of things. From day one, you stepping in to mining till now, talk about your health and how that's transformed a little bit and what your message would be to somebody who's maybe in a similar role or has been in one of those roles.
Well, when I started in the mining industry, we came here from Reno, very unfamiliar with what the day-to-day activities look like as far as mining, what the schedule did to your body, and not necessarily in the short term, but I took a 5-year snapshot of what it did for me, right? So I found that I fell into the trap of buying the burritos at the gas station, getting the 3 energy drinks to get through the night shifts, not really pre-planning anything for myself physically, mentally, to where after 5 years, I went from when I got here, I was about 180 pounds, to after the 5 years, I was over 210 pounds. At that point, I wasn't sleeping well. For lack of better terms, I was just very unhealthy.
25-pound swing just from the occupation?
Yeah, it was just the sedentary work. I was an operator. I came into running equipment, and when you're running equipment for 12 hours straight, you're focused on your lunchbox and what's out in front of you, right? Not a whole lot of work, like physical work. I did jump into some physical work as far as doing cable work, but that really didn't do anything for me either. I was still eating unhealthy, still drinking the energy drinks, and my sleep pattern was just off to where what I found out through the process is I created insulin resistance for myself, pretty much right borderline diabetic. So I had to dig myself out of that hole. And what I did was I just made the personal decision to, hey, this is what I have to do for myself. what does that look like for me? You can't always follow what Joe Blow does. You got to figure out for yourself what's going to work.
Well, but it took you to the point of almost getting diabetes to get there. What would you say to somebody who's not even close to diabetes or doesn't know whether they have diabetes or not? How would you guide them in their decisions? I mean, is it pre-planning your meal prep? Is it your fitness and exercise? All of the above. If somebody, take myself, right? What would you tell, rather than myself, take 5, 6, 7 years ago, Dino Brunson, and what would you have told him then that you're doing now?
I would say not just jumping right into the fire, really evaluating what life's throwing at you and how that's going to impact your physical being. Everybody needs money, and that's what they think about right off the bat, right? It's how do I make as much money as I can in the shortest amount of time that I can? I'm going to work overtime. I'm going to sacrifice my family. I'm going to sacrifice my health. Whatever I have to do to make this money, that's what I'm going to do. The mining community or the mines, they provide the money for you, but they don't always provide the guidance. They have all these health and wellness programs for you, but it doesn't really map it out on exactly what you need to do. My body's different than your body. Chris's body's different than my body. He processes carbohydrates different than I do. And so I want to get down to that finite level of what do you know about yourself? And that's what, in my opinion, that's what I would tell the beginning miner that just comes in. What do you know about yourself?
Invest a little bit in yourself.
Correct. Because at the end of the day, I mean, it's a huge investment for the mining companies too. If you have guys that are running on all cylinders every single day for 12 hours straight and they're healthy, and they don't have diabetes, that's one of the things that, or one of the podcasts I want to have is I want to talk to the Nevada Diabetes Association. I want to dig into what kind of facts they have for our region. What does that look like? How do we get in front of the miner and say, hey, this is the area that you need to head, right? Barrick provides Natasha Dallin. She's a great resource. How do we get that out there, right? Yeah. And it's not just a blanket plan. It's not, hey, man, you're going to eat fish and rice and vegetables. You can't drink beers, because I found for myself that I can still drink beers, change my diet, and still losing weight or body fat. And I feel that through the focus that I put on myself with medical help and doing the right things, that I'm more healthy 8 years into it than I was 2 years into it.
Oh, that makes sense, dude. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know what the lifestyle is going to bring to you, especially being a brand new miner. You don't understand what the work's going to be like. And sometimes it's more of a mental game than it is a physical game. Well, it's definitely more of a mental game. You're literally trying to fight complacency, fight fatigue in a lot of those situations. And not very many people will take the step back and do push-ups on the deck of a haul truck, or will walk around the haul truck to wake up, right? They'll pop that energy drink or get that pill from the doctor that says I can definitely power through this, however that looks. So now there's a lot into it. So you're gonna bring a lot of the health side of this as far as the miner's health, what worked for you. I think something that you're passionate about, along with your experiences. Like I said, an operator, so you understand how to run equipment. You came from the construction side, so you know how to blade, you know how to dozer, you know how to run equipment. But focus for you would probably be miner's health.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I really think that there is a ton of value there for the mining companies to throw an extended effort at the health and wellness of their miners. I mean, there just is.
All right. Well, we're going to move on to Chris Rodriguez, the whitest Spaniard that you've ever seen. Spaniard. We need to get that audio too.
Probably not the whitest Spaniard.
Yeah, for sure. You got a little bit of a dark complexion, but I think you've been in the sun a little bit.
What sun? What sun have we seen recently, Derek? I want to know.
Now, Chris Rodriguez, he's the newest addition to Mining Minds. We're just getting the ball rolling. Excited to have him on. Dude's already helped us out in more ways than we can talk about right now. But what we want to do is kind of get Chris's vision of the podcast and what that looks like. What do you think, Chris? What do you see Mining Minds being?
Well, I see it as an opportunity to really get to dive into the people that are in the industry. In a way that we don't often get the chance to, because really when we look at what we base our decisions on from a day-to-day basis, right, it's kind of surrounding our personal experiences. So there's so much knowledge, so many different types of tactics or experiences out there that by hearing different stories and the ways that people dealt with it, gives everybody, not obviously us sitting here with the guest, but the people that that are listening, gives them a chance to grow personally and maybe lean on somebody else's experience that they may not have ever met face to face before. So I think that from that perspective, there's a tremendous amount of opportunity there to grow value within the industry. Because we talk about it all the time, how we're a tight knit family, but we are spread out at the same time. And we're all willing to help, but maybe we don't know the right resource, right? And maybe there's something that we can hear here, or a question that we can ask somebody here that'll help somebody that's going through something that may not know how to deal with it. And that can be personal life, that can be mining life, that can be, I mean, exactly what you're talking about, Dino, with the challenges that we have in the industry, with our health, and what we're facing with an aging workforce with those health issues. Those are two bad things to have, right? So, that's what I see. I see the opportunity to really just get information from a wide source of people and to share that with hopefully a very wide source of people.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with what Chris is saying. It's really about the information, and when it comes down to it, we've podcasted X amount of time with people, and that's what it comes back to, is information and people. And how do we share that with the community, the mining community? It's going to be Mining Minds is going to be very dynamic within the industry. There's no doubt about it. There's a buzz going on right now, and I look forward to it.
No, I do too. I agree with both of you guys and both the things that you guys have said. Right now, it probably seems like a pretty dry, straightforward, hey, what do you think? But I honestly think that as you guys listen to these podcasts, you'll see we bring in somebody that's professional. And the best thing probably about all of us is we're dynamic enough to have that professional conversation with people. We're also a bunch of knuckleheads that we've been operators. We've been out there in the field, and we understand that, hey, you ever had to deal with somebody that wasn't the nicest person to deal with? And that's probably a PC way to saying it. The mining way to say it, when you see an operator in here, you ever had to deal with a shithead? Hell yeah, I've had to deal with a shithead. How'd you deal with them? Well, I threw my hat backwards or threw my hat on the ground, and we kicked a little dirt and we had it out. Mining is dynamic in itself. You got to know the people that are working in that industry. You got to know the people that support you, and I think it's going to be a pretty cool show. And just my 2 cents.
So, Chris, just so everybody gets a little bit of a snapshot, and I'd like to find this out from you as well, Derek, but how did you get into the mining industry? And once you got in the mining industry, what kept you here, and what's driving you to continue to be here?
Showers.
Yeah, underground showers.
Unfortunately, I haven't experienced those. That's something that I haven't been around yet. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I got into mining just kind of as a job. I was just looking for work, and I started off as a day laborer, picking metal out of a pile.
Metal removal plant?
Metal removal. I was a magnet. I was a human magnet.
You were the magnet.
For ore that was about to go through a crusher, right? Making $9 an hour, doing that. And just knowing that from family members and friends of family members, knowing that there's opportunity for growth within the industry, right? So I just kind of put my head down, worked hard, ended up being, running equipment, dozer, loader, haul trucks, blades. I'm not very good with the blade. It's not. I can move rocks around and shit, but that's about it. But and when I left that company, I was a relief foreman. And then I went and worked for another larger company working in plants and learned that end of things. So learning the crushing process and the roaster and all those different things.
You're talking about just how to make gold.
Just how to make gold, how we basically speed up Mother Nature, right? And produce gold. So it was really, I guess, what kept me in mining was mine rescue. Growing up, and my dad being a miner and finishing out high school in this area, I wasn't really that drawn toward it initially. And then mine rescue is kind of what kept me in it. And then the opportunity, of course, right?
So would you say that's your passion?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, that was one of those things where it was just like, I may not like everything about my job, but I got this one thing that I really do enjoy. And so that's what kept me going. And then you'll hear it over and over again with the guests and all of us. We're in it for the money. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's an undeniable benefit of the industry.
Well, and with that, you'll hear family and money and family in some way, shape, or form. But you do what you do because of your family and because of the money that is able to provide for your family. So in reality, they're one and the same to me. Mm-hmm. If you're able to make good money, you're able to support your family. And a lot of that's how you take care of the money and yada, 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 and that'll be another podcast. But you can't deny that the money is there to support your family.
That would be a great podcast because that's another thing, I think, right along with health. Financial wellness, because I'll tell you what, I made a lot of money here and I don't have a lot to show for it.
I think that's a lot of miners.
That's region wide.
Yep. Well, and little backstory for me, and sorry to cut you off, Chris, but that's the reason I went and got the degree that I had. It wasn't I watched my dad hand out a lot of money to a lot of people. And it was, I told myself, I don't want to ever be in a position where I'm handing out money. What I would like to be in the position is to educate people on how to take care of their money. And along the way, I was able to do that. Some good, some bad. I mean, people obviously pay attention or don't pay attention or whatever else. But at least I'm at the point now where it's like I can educate people rather than hand them $1, right? I can teach them to fish rather than catch a fish and feed them for them. But I think as a mining culture, we're not very, it's kind of like oil riggers, right? They're not very good with it. They have the big trucks, they have this, they have that, but they're not very good with their money.
Work hard and you play harder. And when it comes down to it, that $85,000 truck is way more important than the $85,000 that you're going to put in your retirement program, right? To where I fell into that trap for the first couple of years that I was here, and I'm still not perfect at the game by any means, but getting better by listening to other people's experiences. You've been instrumental in helping guide those financial aspects of being married, trying to raise a family, and thinking about the long term. So,
well, you look at and this is where I relate it to the couple of the big reasons people don't make it in this world, meaning in marriage. Finances is right at the top. How you raise your kids is another one. In-laws is one for sure. And then your religious belief is another one. So if you have 4 of those and you're not on top of your game, say in one of those, there's a high probability that you're not going to make it as a couple. If you don't have 2 or 3 of those, there's a high probability. None of us get to pick our parent-in-laws or family-in-laws. So they're
in-laws, bro.
Whatever. you might be behind the fucking ball starting off, right? So you might have 3 of the 4, but you might be lacking that. Then all of a sudden your finances take shit because you go into mining, and all of a sudden how you choose to raise your boys or kids or family or girls or whatever, all that stuff starts to play an effect on it. It doesn't matter how much money you make in the world; those things play a role. And if you're not on the ball at the beginning, that shit is a very important. Those are very important factors to your life. So,
well, yeah, there's actually some good studies out there that show that there's kind of a cap on that. Money can't buy happiness, whole thing. It can, but it's to a point, right? And so they're saying it's around $75,000 a year. Beyond that, people don't really show much more happiness in their career or at home or those types of things. So obviously if you're sitting there at 20 grand and you're looking at the opportunity to make 80 grand, that's a big life change, right?
Oh yeah.
And a big quality of life change at that. So when we're sitting here and we've got this area that we're just fortunate, honestly, enough to be in.
The medium income's 80.
Yeah, and look at the college graduation rate, pretty low. So that, I think, kind of plays a portion into it, because maybe we're doing better now in high school about teaching finances and managing finances. But when I was there, 1, I wasn't paying attention to begin with.
Yeah.
And 2, I don't think that there was much by way of that. I mean, there wasn't a big emphasis on it.
It wasn't a big push, but I think we're also, I call it the Big Mac generation, where health wasn't as big a focus, where finance wasn't as big a focus. And it's not to say that our parents weren't trying to give the best to us. It was to say they didn't know either. And 20 years ago, nutrition was a brand new science. Looking at finances is completely different than how we look at it now. You can even say it's completely different than how we look at it from the last market crash of 2008 or whatever you want to call it. Dude, the game's changed. The constant in that is the people in the mining community really haven't been affected by that. And they've found new ways to mine. They've found new ways to do things. They've found different ways to educate their workforce. But you still have to be able to go out and work hard and be willing to put up with some shit in order to earn a couple bucks.
I agree. So, with that being said, man, how did you get into the mining industry? Let's talk about little Derek Grover for a little bit. I want to seriously. I would like everybody to hear how you got where you're at, the struggles that you've been through, and what you're bringing to the table as far as mining mines and what your vision is.
I followed my big brother. That's pretty much the gist of it. So our old man was in mining. We grew up in mining, but I always told myself I wasn't going to go be a miner. I said I won't go back to mining. That's my last result, or my last that's
your end game.
Yeah, like that's at the end of everything. That's what, if I have to, I'll go back to that. That's what I thought in my head, right? As this young prick who wants to go out and take on the world. The reality was, man, I got out into the world, and I started out, and I went I actually went to be a firefighter, and I heard the story about the first dead baby scene and the first, old lady that's there, and she's dead, but you go and try to revive her because the guy that's sitting there that she's been married to for 60 years wants you to do something. And that I wasn't mature enough at that time to understand what you were doing there. And I quickly jumped out of the Fire Science Academy, and I jumped into architecture. I got about 80% done with my degree in architecture and decided, or I didn't decide, Dad passed away, and I was dominating. I was going through and fucking smashing it, dude. I loved landscape. I loved architecture. I loved the way that the culture was going with trying to take inner cities and make them beautify them, or beautification, make them better, make fucking America great again. So I got there, and then all of a sudden Dad passed away, which he was our rock, and that was a shock to I think everybody in our family, and we kind of had to readjust our game plan. I don't think still probably to this day that affected me, right? I don't think that I've fully recovered in the sense that I still know what the fuck I'm doing sometimes, right? I still make stupid mistakes that I shouldn't make. Had he been here to slap me and send me in the right direction. Yeah, but because he isn't here, I also think that's made me go through some of the harder paths and understand some of the harder ways to learn things and get through those. I did school, went to University of Nevada, Wolfpack. What? This guy's from UNLV, so that's not even a real university. Not even a real university. Either way, went there. Ran out of money, was tired of getting student loans. I loved drinking beer. I loved hanging out with chicks, but I realized I was obviously had to finish my degree. The great plan was to go up to North Dakota for the summer. Oil boom was going on. I went up there and decided to make a couple bucks. While I was up there, I had a awesome person, probably one of the people that I'll look back in my life and go, you really changed the way the stars aligned. His name's Rick Opp. He worked for Trucks of Bismarck. He asked me to come in and be a Freightliner salesman, and I had to learn how to upfit Freightliner trucks. I worked on the severe duty, side, so upfitting them with water tanks and service trucks you guys see running out there. I was instrumental in upfitting those, basically taking it cab to chassis to what do you need as an end user and how do I do that economically. So that was a cool experience for me. I realized I needed to continue my education, so I went to the University of Phoenix, had to redo a lot of the same shitty classes that I failed before, then passed, and now I had to fucking pass again. Did that while I was up there. While I was up there, I also wanted to come home. I was away from the family for 4 years. Family was in Nevada, and so I said, you know what, man, I'm going to try my hand again in this mining thing. I had been in Kinross, Fort Knox, Alaska. Did that for a little while and decided it wasn't my cup of tea when I was real young. And this was my second go at it, so I really cut my teeth in northern Nevada as an operator. Continue to still hammer on the school side of it, hammer on the work side of it, and was joined the mine rescue. And like Chris said, his whole thing was the mine rescue aspect of it that really kept him going. When I got into mine rescue, I loved it, man. I would eat and breathe, and I would tie knots sitting there watching TV, and I would hang myself from a fucking pole outside my house and figure out how to get up it with one piece of rope and what I needed to do. It's a different animal. You start breathing differently, living differently. And I got approached for Mike Riley and Larry Nyman actually said, hey, you interested in safety and health? I said, I don't know what it's about. I said, I like mine rescue. I said, well, it's basically the same thing.
So they lied to you.
And so I said, I'm in. And then I got into it, and I was a safety and health trainer, and it was actually cool because I was the first person that anybody would see when they came in as a contractor or as a new hire. And I had the opportunity to sit in front of them and tell them my experiences, and the shit that they were doing or had done in the past was different than how we were going to do it now.
So you had the opportunity to set an expectation for a world-class gold operation.
Absolutely, dude. And Kinross at the time provided that opportunity, and I got to throw them a shout out because for sure, dude, had it not been for them coming in saying we need somebody like you up here, and the Larry Nymans and the Mike Rileys of the world believing in me, I wouldn't have done it, right? And then I've made a couple moves since then and done my safety career or expanded my safety career. But I love it, dude, because the Mike Rileys of the world showed me that, dude, get out there, be with the guys, understand the game, work your ass off. And the Larry Nymans of the world showed me you have to do your research, you have to understand the game, you have to know the answers of why when these people are asking. And the combination of the two, I think, really helped me excel from a safety and health standpoint, where right now I'm sitting there and people go, and this guy can talk shit with me, but he's also going to tell me why I should be doing this. And he's also, if he doesn't know the answer, going to look into why we should be doing A instead of B. So I'm a no bullshit type of guy, meaning I don't know everything. I don't claim to know everything, but if you have a question, I'm going to look it up and get back to you. Doesn't mean I'm going to get back to you right then, but I'll figure it out, and it might be 2 months down the line, and I'll make sure you have the information. So that was me, man. Sorry to fucking bore you guys. But for me, the podcast is organic. It's just exactly what we're talking about. There's going to be times when you come on here and it's going to be very PC, depending on the person we have here, where I think we're very good at adjusting who we are to have those conversations. You get a high profile guest, and we're able to talk professionally, but you also have the miner in here, and I think we're able to talk about shit that happens in the mining industry and things that happen at the face, because we've all been there.
Open forum for sure. Yeah, there's going to be times that we're going to be at different platforms. We're going to be at the Nevada Mining Associations. We're going to be at the SMEs, to where those dynamics are going to be a little bit different. But when we're here at the face and we're talking with the miners, we want to give the miners what they want to hear. We want to talk about and we want to relate to everything that's going on out there. We really do.
And hear their stories, man, because there's unique people that are in our industry right now, and it's a unique place to be. Nowhere else in the world, I'm not saying no, in no other industry in the world, in my opinion, do you see the amount of unique individuals that we have. You have somebody that's done some hard time sitting next to somebody who's got a degree in physics, and they're both doing the same job, and they're both getting along doing it, and it's just an interesting animal to really look at and go, holy crap, how did we get here? And people in mining are special, bro. The reality is that people in the big cities don't understand what these little towns do for them. They think that we still have pick and shovel and we're still back there doing that type of work. We're not. We're the gold that goes into your computers, the silver that goes into your TV. We took that out of. There's probably 100,000 people in northern Nevada that took 80% of the nation's gold to make that happen.
Right.
You need to realize and respect that.
Satellites.
Yes, dude, everything. Yes. Your phones. You have to understand. Look into it a little bit.
Even if you're not talking about gold and you're talking on a broader scale.
Sure.
Right. And if it's
cars.
Yeah, cars, all of it. Batteries, all of it. Yeah. Right. And so you really need to look at it, and that I think is one of our biggest opportunities, is to help people to understand that, that there's a reason that people do this job. There's a reason that it brings people from across the world to Nevada.
Correct. I agree.
It's crazy to think that there are so many people from so many different locations that end up here.
Yeah.
And it's because of the opportunities, and that spreads back across America in the form of our phones, in the form of jewelry, in the form of all kinds of different stuff, right?
I think that's it. One of the coolest things about the Mining Minds podcast is being able to get that information out there to everybody, to heighten the awareness, man. Like this is what's happening in the world, and this is what we're a part of. I mean, we're a part of the greater good, in my opinion. And for us to have this platform to get the experts in the industry from across the world is going to be exciting for me.
Well, there's responsible mining and then there's dirty mining, right? And what everybody thinks about is that dirty mining. You rob and run. And don't get me wrong, there's places out there like that. I think in the Americas anyway, in the Northern Americas, you're not seeing that as much anymore. In the rest of the world, I think these big companies are realizing they can't do that anymore because it's not a localized platform that people are now have the media streams. It's the CNNs of the world that are out there that are going to capture what you did and what you screwed up on. And ultimately, that's going to affect your stock.
And listen, miners want responsible mining. A lot of the guys around here are big hunters. They're big fishers. They like to go out in the hills. Nobody wants to ruin that, right? And there's an undeniable fact that we do scar the earth.
Sure.
Undeniable. But there's a balance to it.
There is.
And a lot of that balance came from public pressure, if you're being completely honest about that as well. But we're in a good spot with it now. And not only in a good spot with it now, but these companies are looking to exceed the standards.
What was there before, yeah.
We want to do better. We're doing better than what's required of us, right? So we want sustainable mining for generations. Generational wealth is what gold companies are trying to create for the people that work for them.
It's unique because when you go into let's say a shirt manufacturer, or I'm just throwing things off the cuff, they're not looking past the next 30 days. We're looking past the next 100 years. Mm-hmm. That's what we're looking at doing, is going, in the next 100 years, what are we doing? What are we doing today that's affecting the next 100 years? Not the next 100 years of just people, but the environment, the communities, equipment that we're using. How is all this stuff going to play a role? And I think that's an exciting part of it, man. This opening podcast might be boring because we're not talking that much shit, but I think it's the real side of it. Some of it's going to be PC. Some of it's going to be real miners sitting talking to each other. And all of these conversations, I think, are going to be brought to the forefront. Let's talk about it. Just because we have an opinion doesn't mean that we're right. Just because we have an idea doesn't mean that it's the right idea. But hopefully it's a platform for people to get their own thoughts and opinions and ideas out there as well.
I like it. Sorry, I'm working with Jason right now. He's trying to set up our Wi-Fi extension out here. So I'm sorry if I seem a little preoccupied, but
he's sending Jason pictures of his feet.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I think that's it. What do you think, Knuckleheads?
We're good.
Yeah, I think we're good, man. I look forward to working with you guys. I look forward to all the guests that we're going to have on our podcast, and the information that we're going to be able to share and learn, actually.
Yeah, let's tune in to Mining Minds LLC. Don't forget the LLC at the end of it. No other bitches have that but us. You can look us up on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. You can probably see us on your mama's Zoom calls. Wherever you look, you're going to see us. Just know that. Adios.
Peace.
See ya.